Good evening, Africa. We are in Botswana. Very excited to be in Botswana. Now remember, the narrative has changed from Southern Africa or the SADC or Pan-African into Africa. So we're very excited about being in Botswana. And in Botswana, there's a whole lot of entrepreneurs who are doing great things. Now, one of them is a gentleman he started very young, at a young age, and he built his IT company to where it is today. We are sitting at one of his restaurants, which is a hobby type of business because, you know, smart entrepreneurs diversify. Why entrepreneurship? Why did you get into business?
My role model was my grandmother. She was an entrepreneur. So I started early at home. Primary school, I was already working for her business. Secondary school, I was already working for her business. So even at high school, after high school, national service, when I was doing my part-time job, before I went to university, I used to leave my job at lunchtime to go sell, she used to sell food. Lunchtime I'll be selling food outside the bank. Then 2 o'clock I get inside the bank to do work. So it's probably, that's what instilled the discipline and the ambition to want to even do more.
So you own a group of companies called the Moro Group.
Yeah.
What does your company do?
We focus on 3 aspects of technology: applications, infrastructure managed support, and now a new baby, which is a fintech company looking at transaction business, where we do e-commerce, payments, collections, building a switch. So that's one of our biggest projects up to date. We are looking on to take on to Africa also.
You're a millionaire at a very young age. Some of the mistakes that you've done at an earlier age that you'd like to reprimand or get young people right now who are watching, who are about to get into business or just gotten into business to refrain from, what would you like to say to Africans?
We all make the same mistakes. Sometimes it's fortunately or unfortunately. I had 2 goals. I had 2 career paths. One was that I had to get my doctorate at 30 then, or become a millionaire at 25. But it was just a statement, without any plan to say what's next after that. So I chose the entrepreneurship route, where obviously on my 3rd year in university, that's how I started my business. So I never looked back. But later in life, I realized that, it was important not to have foregone the education route, but to bring that back in. So I went back to school. I did my master's in strategic management, and I'm currently doing my PhD right now at Netherlands Business School. That's one of the biggest, it brings a balance in terms of, growth in business, but also, being a thought leader in terms of what you do. That's one. Number 2 is purely about management and understanding the difference between business and oneself. Monametsi is not the business. They have to coexist and exist separately. So that's one of the basic and the sort of rudimentary mistakes that all young entrepreneurs make. So without proper mentorship and guidance, you are most likely to follow through the same mistakes. So nowadays it's easier because there's so much more to read, more people to look at or to look up to that can help startup companies avoid the same mistakes.
Yeah. Now, you are from the IT sector, but right now we're sitting at this beautiful, beautiful restaurant which you own.
Yeah.
Diversification as an entrepreneur.
And it's one of those things that you have to make a decision. It's like when you want to start a business and somebody tells you it's not going to work, and you have to make a decision. Do you listen to them, or do you go on your own and trust your instinct and yourself when you do it? When you run a business and you want to expand or you want to diversify, you go to a bank manager, the first thing they'll tell you is that, why don't you just focus on what you know? And you're telling somebody, economies of scale. If one business is not doing well, at least you've got a cushion in other industries. Like the food market, margins are very high. You look at 35–40%. Technology business used to be, the margins used to be high, but now they are lower. So you are able to balance. You move into property because technology is a more intellectual business. You don't own any assets. But if you want to go out to a bank and get a loan, they want security. What do? If you had only focused on building intellectual capital, then you don't have anything to give them. So it's important to look at your strengths, obviously, but also the requirements of your business or your growth path, and align them that by building other subsidiaries that can feed into that. So as much as, you know, the restaurant business it's a good business, I still want to do a lot more around the hospitality. Maybe look at boutique hotels that I'm developing, but maybe more restaurants. But technology will always remain, you know, that's what I wake up every morning. I don't even sleep, because of my passion, not only for technology, but to see other entrepreneurs, especially in Botswana, doing well in this sector.
41 years old, and this guy is already building his own dynasty, multi-millionaire, done extremely well. Very humble brother, family man, very focused, travels a lot, and is building his empire. Africa, we've got such great gems, we've got such talented people, bright brains. Now, the one thing that I admire about him is that he's not just an entrepreneur, but he's also an academic. He's done his master's, he's currently busy with his PhD. My brother, you're such an inspiration, I wish you well.